What's up, boys and girls? Today we'll be drawing Squirtle from Pokemon. Feel free to draw along and pause the video whenever you like to catch up with me. Let's take a look at the materials we need for this drawing. You're going to need a pencil, an eraser, a black marker, and some crayons. Let's take a look at the colors. So, I have a blue and a dark blue for Squirtle's body, head, legs, and tail. I have a pink and a purple for the darker and lighter parts of the eye. And then I have a gray for the darker parts of the edge of the shell. And then I have a yellow for the belly, for the body, front of the body. And a reddish orange, like brownish orange, I'd say. A brownish, reddish orange for the shell on the back. And a brown for the shadow, a dark shadow of front of the body, the cast shadow, and the shell. Okay? Now let's take a look at what shapes and form we can use to help us create Squirtle. So Squirtle is made up of a lot of circular oval shapes. Let's take a look at the head. So the head is pretty much almost circular. See that? It's like a circle. I can draw my cross on this circle to get like a spherical sense of the form. Okay, and this cross that I draw on the circle will help me locate the eyes and other facial features as well later on when I start drawing a sketch. And then I'm going to draw another circular, a little bit elongated oval shape for the body. See, here we have another circle. Then we have an oval here for this arm, and another oval here for this arm. Now, part of the oval is hidden behind the body, so you're not going to see it, but when I draw the entire oval, you see that it's hiding behind the body. Okay, so we have a leg right here, coming out from right here, and another leg coming out from right here. Okay, and it's just another oval almost, but it curves in one way. See that? Okay, and then the feet, little toes, and the tail. The tail is like a circle. You can draw a circle to begin with, and it's connected to the shell. Alright, let's take a look at the lighting. So we got highlights, we got shadow, we got midtones, highlight, and shadow. So let's take a look where the lighting is coming from. So you can see highlight right here, highlight right here, highlight right here, here, and here. Okay, and then we see shadow on the bottom right hand side. Right here, 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 here. So we're pretty sure that lighting is coming from this direction. Okay, so some of the shadows are cast shadows, some of the shadows are form shadow. Form shadow is when the shadow follows the form of your object. And then the cast shadow doesn't follow the form, but it's casted from the object above or nearby it. Okay, because it's in front of it when in relationship to the lighting. So we see this shadow right here is a cast shadow from the head. Okay, all right. So the other shadows are pretty much all form shadow except this shadow. You'll find most likely your cast shadow underneath the chin. Okay? So let's start our drawing. Alright, I'm going to make a mark right here, make a mark right here, left and right. Okay? And if you're like me, you're not very good at drawing circles. You can draw the four corners first, and then draw the other four corners, connect the lines. Okay, now you have a pretty good looking circle. Okay, just like right here in the reference, I'm going to draw my cross here on my circle to make it a sphere. Okay, alright, and then now the body. Okay, we can almost always use our pencil as a measuring tool and see how long the body is in comparison to the head. So it's almost a 1-to-1 proportion. So see, our head is right here. Our body should not be too big. So it's about this big. Okay, here we have our body. I'm going to go just erase some of these lines real quick. I'm going to redraw that curve. Draw my sticky roller. I have a sticky roller to help me clean up. This is optional, but it's awesome. It keeps your table, whatever surface you're drawing on, very clean. So what I'm doing is, if I grab my pencil and measure it, you see how this corner of the circle almost aligns with this circle right here. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to align it. I'm constantly comparing my drawing with the reference. See if I get it down right. Okay. So right here, there's a little distance here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to erase this part right here. Okay, so now next I'm gonna work on this arm. So we have one of the arm growing out right here, the other one's on the other side. It's gonna come out like this, like an egg. Then we have the other arm here. Okay, now the legs. We'll do this leg first. And the other leg right here. Add in the toe. Okay. And then I'm going to add in the tail right here. Okay, now I have the basic shape of Squirtle. I'm going to start refining it. Okay, so I'm going to add in like the eyes and other fine details of it. So eyes is about right here. The other one's all the way at the edge. So. Okay, so the eyes are two oval shapes too. This is cut around the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to bump out the cheek or the mouth. Okay. And then go ahead and draw in the mouth. Oops. Okay, so you continue drawing the arm, this one first. So I'm going to draw a little sphere right here indicating the palm, and then put in my fingers. Okay. Again right here, I'm going to draw an oval shape right here indicating the palm, and then drawing my fingers. Okay, I'm going to refine the details on the shell here. Okay, I'm drawing these panelings on the front of the body. Okay, refine this leg a little bit better. Okay, and then this leg. Come down. All right. Okay. And the tail. Okay, so now I have like overall the shapes in there, but I feel like it's still very rough. So I'm gonna go ahead and start refining the lines, like, because I always start drawing very lightly, and then as I progress, you know, some lines I know for sure that I got it right sometimes, and then I'll just make the lines darker, and then the lines that I'm not so sure about will just slowly becomes lighter and lighter. So that's what I'm going to do right now for the whole drawing. And you're going to see that the line work will become lighter and lighter, like like the line works that it's not correct, or that you're not so sure about, that you drew very lightly in the beginning. They're going to become lighter and lighter. They're going to fade away because your other lines that you're sure about is darker and darker. Now I could like just start grabbing my marker and start tracing over this, but I'm pretty much sure some of the lines that are just too blurry to make out, like my marker tracing won't be as good. So I'm just going to spend this extra time here and make sure that my line work is I'm happy with my pencil sketch. Okay, so at this point, I'm pretty happy with my pencil drawing. I think I got it down pretty accurate. So I'm just going to move my reference to the side, and then grab my marker and start tracing it. Now when you trace, there are a couple areas I want you to pay attention to. So pay attention to where like shapes overlap. So for example, on the toe right here, see how this line, the leg, overlaps the toe just a little bit? That's indicating that the shape of the legs is in front of the toe. Okay, so same thing, there you see a little bit of that over here. See a little bit of that over here. That's the eyelid. Okay, so pay attention to that when you trace. Okay, let's start. Now when you trace, it's a good habit to trace from top to bottom and from left to right. So that if your marker doesn't dry as fast, you won't smear the line work. And remember, you can always rotate your paper. If your hand is in your way of the tracing, you can't see the pencil sketch very clearly. And you can always break up the line. You can draw 2 lines. It doesn't have to be just connect the 2 lines. You don't have to draw a very big long curve for a straight line with one stroke. You don't need to do that. Okay. Now I have all the pencil line work traced with marker. I'm going to grab my eraser and erase the pencil lines that we can still see after we trace it with a marker. So we'll end up with a very clean outline. Okay, I'm going to grab my sticky roller again, roll over my paper, nice and clean. Alright, next I'm going to start coloring. So I'm actually going to color in the eyes first. There's 2 ways to do it. You can either like just do everything, one light layer, one layer of color first and then slowly add in a shadow, and start with the lightest color, or sometimes I like to do is start with the smallest area because it's so easy to get to, you know. So for example, the eyes, I'm just going to grab the pink and color it in. Okay, I'm going to grab the purple and then color in the top part of the eyes. Gonna make the eyes look deeper. Okay, now I'm gonna grab the gray that I have and just color in the small area that needs the gray in the eyes, and then right here, this part of the shell. I'm just gonna grab my gray, throw on the shadow real quick. So I'm done with it. Okay. Next, I'm going to work on the front of the shell. Grab a yellow. And start coloring it in. First layer of yellow. So the goal is to color evenly, have a nice even layer of color. You don't want to have some area that's super thick, some area super light. You want to have a very even layer of color. Okay, and then I'm going to put in the shadow, so I'm going to grab my brown, you take a look right here, and I put in that cast shadow and the form shadow right here. So the form shadow pretty much goes from here to here. That's our form shadow here, and then the cast shadow is about right here. Okay, so I'm going to put in this layer of shadow. Okay, so I missed an area of gray, which is on the very bottom right here. So I have it in right now. Alright, and then the back of the shell, I'm going to grab my like brownish yellow, brownish orange, I mean. And then add in, so I'm going to, so if you see right here, this is like a little area of highlight right here. So I'm going to just leave that as white. Okay, it's going to look really nice. So this area right here. Okay, I'm going to grab my brown and add in shadow in here. Okay, alright, last but not least, finally we're going to get to the body. So I'm going to take a look at where all my highlights are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some of the fingers. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the left and just start like marking out the area where there will be highlight. I'm going to leave it as white. So this area right here. This area right here on the forehead, a little bit on the eye right here, a little bit on the nose, and right here on the leg, and right here on the leg. Okay, and now besides those areas that I just marked up, I'm going to color in the rest of the area. Okay, so I'm not gonna leave the shadow area uncolored because the shadow color will just be colored on top of this layer of blue, because you can overlay colors to make them darker, but on paper you can't overlay colors to make them lighter. So that's why for the highlights we leave them as white. Okay, and then when I color in, I like to try to follow the form of the object. Shape. So I try to not have like too many like random strokes here and there going all different directions. Okay, just gonna make sure that you kind of follow the form of the object, whether it's a character, a tree, house, or the drawing. Okay, so you see the areas that I left white, they now read as highlight. And then when I put in the shadow, it'll be more clear, so you can see like, oh, that's a highlight in the object. Okay, I'm going to grab my dark blue, starting in the shadow, so we see the shadow like right here. And then right here on the hand, right here, and this hand, okay, and on the leg, this area right here, that, the toes, okay. So now all the areas marked out. Okay, I'm going to start adding in this layer of shadow. And depending on which color you chose, some colors will just lay right in, like I'm doing with the dark blue right now. Some colors you have to push a little bit harder to really stick the color to the paper or on top of the layer that you currently have. Okay, see that? Then Okay, cool. So last step I'm gonna do is grab my black marker again and just go over some of the profile outlines again to make the character pop out. Since this lake is combined with the tail, I'm going to make this line with the lake thicker, the entire line. Okay, and then the body, the front of the body right here, I'm going to add the outline to the entire line. Okay. Okay. And right, and then I'm going to just make this line here on the chin, just cut in a little bit more. Like that. Okay? And then this arm, since it gets further away as he, stretch out his arm like that. I'll make it a little bit thicker at the end here. Alright. And there we have a Squirtle from Pokemon. Hope you guys enjoyed this drawing session. Let me know in the comments below what we should draw next. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.